Picking up his battered black top hat, he settled it on his crown of locks, the brim shadowing his face. With a final, weary sigh, Castor slung the bag of heads over his shoulder, gore dripping onto his coat. He whistled a low, haunting tune as he strode from the carnage, disappearing down the midnight streets, a sinister spectre, both hunter and harbinger, vanishing into the city's waiting dark. Back at the funeral home, Hugo glided to the front door, headlights flickering like watchful eyes. Pollux awaited, medallion in hand, its glow a silent benediction in the gloom. The hearse's rear latch yawed open with a sigh, and Pollux, moving with the solemnity of a midnight priest, cradled the black coffin onto a trolley. Each step was a vow, every motion etched in ritual. Inside the ceremonial chambers, shadows gathered like old friends. Pollux opened the casket with hands trembling in reverence, making certain Castor's prayer still wrapped Sevyn's soul in its invisible arms, holding him at the threshold where night meets dawn. "Papa, the body and soul are prepared," said Pollux, his words carrying the weight of his duty and the anticipation of the soul's readiness for the transition. Without pause, Mr. Abgel swept from altar to casket, his robe billowing in his wake, a storm on marble floors. He hefted Sevyn's limp form onto the steel slab, the overhead lights sputtering as shadows slithered up the walls. Sevyn lay stretched like an offering on some ancient altar, skin pale as candle wax. Mr. Abgel pressed a calloused palm to the boy's cheek, and his whispered prayer vibrated with defiance, a plea hurled across the gulf, a dare to whatever powers haunted the threshold of death. As the final syllable faded, Mr. Abgel donned his gloves with a crack that split the silence. He drew a scalpel forged from garnet, its edge burning with heart fire. In a single, practiced sweep, he carved a Y into Sevyn's flesh, blood blooming in jeweled rivulets under the merciless light. His hands moved with fevered precision, organs lifted and set in glass reliquaries, their green liquid swirling like bottled storms. The scent of blood mingled with ozone, and the room thrummed with the pulse of magic older than memory. Pollux, pale but resolute, snapped on his gloves and took his place in the ritual ballet. He ferried jars with trembling hands, each vessel a secret, as his father replaced corrupted organs with preserved talismans of flesh. Time became a tightening noose, every second stitched with dread. At last, Pollux's needle flashed through candlelight, sewing the Y-shaped riddle closed, sealing Sevyn's borrowed shell for whatever destiny waited in the dark. Mr. Abgel's eyes gleamed with a feverish anticipation as he laid the scalpel aside, a predator's smile flickering on his lips. "Now," he murmured, voice a velvet blade, "the most delicate harvest, the mind itself." The words shimmered with both clinical ritual and forbidden delight, sending a chill that danced along every spine in the chamber. After extracting Sevyn's brain, Pollux handed his father the final organ, resting in the last jar on the altar. Then, as Mr. Abgel takes the brain from his son, he carefully places it inside Sevyn's skull. After reattaching the crown of the skull and repairing Sevyn's head, Pollux took a picture of the lifeless body lying on the table. "I'll go make his death certificate. What is his name, Papa?" Pollux asked, his voice steady, though tinged with the moment's gravity. "His name is Sevyn Wayne," Mr. Abgel replied, his tone void of emotion as he gazed at the lifeless body before them. "He was born on the 1st of February 1990. For the record, input the 21st of February 2023 as the day he died. The cause of death is homicide by hanging," he ordered, narrowing his eyes with determination. Pollux nodded and rushed down the dimly lit corridor toward the ceremonial chambers, urgency propelling him forward. Meanwhile, Castor, his older brother, joined him, carrying a heavy trash bag slung over his shoulder. "Here are the 4 demon heads you will need for the ritual, Papa," Castor said, a mix of pride and apprehension in his voice as he unceremoniously dumped the severed heads onto the worn wooden floor. Around the table, 4 demon heads leered, eyes hollow, mouths frozen in eternal protest, fangs bared in a last silent scream. Their presence warped the candlelight into monstrous silhouettes that stalked the stone walls. At the center lay Sevyn, pale and still, poised like a soul balanced on the edge of judgment, a single breath from oblivion or return. Mr. Abgel drew a breath, slow and cavernous, the moment's gravity crushing his ribs. He scanned the grisly ring of trophies, then lifted his arms and began to chant in a tongue older than sorrow. The ritual hymn rose in haunted waves, each syllable rippling through the cold stone and making the air tremble. Incense and blood mingled in the air, thickening into a storm of scent and static, an atmosphere alive with the heartbeat of forbidden power. As the chant deepened, shadows writhed and bucked, and cold crept up Pollux's spine like the fingers of the grave. The chamber became a crucible, every breath and heartbeat enslaved to the ancient rhythm. In that suspended instant, Sevyn's fate was a coin spinning in the dark, its landing left to the will of those who dared summon the dead from the jaws of nothingness. When Sevyn's soul slipped its mortal tether, he awoke beneath a sky stitched with oblivion, at a crossroads spun from mist, shadow, and possibility. The ground shimmered underfoot, dusted with the glitter of lost stars, while the air crackled with the hush of worlds about to turn. At the center waited Mr. Abgel, robed in midnight and memory, regal as a forgotten king, spectral as moonlight on old stone. A silver chain gleamed at his throat, heavy with authority and sorrow. His ancient gaze pierced Sevyn, not with kindness or menace, but with the weary patience of a guardian who has watched countless souls weigh their fate at the edge of eternity. Mr. Abgel's voice was a wind in the void, soft as velvet, powerful as thunder. He offered Sevyn a choice: accept the mantle of Garnet Warrior, a destiny braided with burden and glory, or turn from the path and vanish into oblivion. The air vibrated with tension, each heartbeat rippling with hope and dread, every second a question. Would Sevyn seize the legend, or step back into the shadows of unmaking? "I know the questions in your heart, Mr. Abgel murmured, his words stirring the mist like wind across a haunted field. The crossroads seemed to breathe with his voice, shadows pulsing in tune with possibility. Certainty is a lie. Only your steps can reveal what waits beyond this threshold. Every choice shapes you, every stride writes your truth. His tone was a lantern in the fog, gentle yet absolute. Some doors, once opened, are never closed again. Who are you? And where am I? Sevyn asked, his voice laced with confusion and apprehension as he faced Mr. Abgel. My twins call me Papa, Mr. Abgel replied, a playful twinkle in his eye. I'm here to guide you, Sevyn, to help you see your choices. His enigmatic nature pulled Sevyn deeper into the unknown. Are you here to kill me? Sevyn asked, a mixture of defiance and fear coloring his tone. Kill you. Sevyn, you're already dead. An altercation with malevolent souls brought you here. Ahead waits a thrilling mystery, Mr. Abgel said, his words lingering like fog. Dead! Impossible! If I'm dead, are you dead too? Sevyn's voice wavered with disbelief, shock, and denial written on his face. As of this moment, I am neither fully alive nor entirely dead, Mr. Abgel replied, his tone enigmatic and layered. I would love to clarify things for you, but I fear it might only add to your confusion. So, I really bit the dust this time, huh? There's so much I still need to see and accomplish. Sevyn's voice trembled as he turned to Mr. Abgel, searching for clarity. I can only bring you this far, Sevyn, Mr. Abgel intoned, standing sentinel above the place where fate unfurled in 3 directions. One path blazed gold, brimming with hope, wildflowers and sunlit certainty. Another slithered in shadow, thick with fear and the unknown. The third blazed garnet, its stones pulsing with a heartbeat of power and peril, the very air above it quivering with dangerous promise. Each road shimmered with the ghosts of choices past, every pebble humming with stories. Mr. Abgel gestured to all, his eyes steady as a judge at the world's edge, awaiting Sevyn's step into legend or oblivion. Sevyn's heart thundered as he faced the fateful crossroads. Drawn by a pull older than memory, he stepped onto the garnet-lit road. Its hue was both alien and achingly familiar, a color he'd seen only in dreams and wounds. The stones thrummed with secret energy beneath his feet, while the air shimmered with the scent of blood and smoldering promise. Shadows danced at his flanks. Fear and hope twined together as he walked into the story he was meant to claim. Soon a figure took shape in the gloom. A man sprawled like a broken constellation at the road's edge, his garments torn and gleaming with blood as dark as spilled rubies. The crimson of his clothes caught the garnet glow, casting bloody halos in the mist, as though destiny itself had circled this stranger for Sevyn's reckoning. Though dread coiled in his belly, Sevyn pressed forward, each footfall a battle between terror and mercy. The closer he drew, the sharper his resolve became. He would not let this soul perish alone, no matter the shadows lurking beyond. With every step, he wove a filament of hope through the dark, his courage a fragile lantern against the devouring night.